Hello, this is teddygaming and welcome back to another video. In today's one, we're going to be looking at the tmnt, the Saturday Morning Adventures, issue number 2. So yeah, I must admit, after looking at issue number 1, with how everything played out with the Rat King controlling the turtles and stuff like that, I must admit, I'm really looking forward to this issue, just because I really want to see how it all plays out and stuff like that. And not to mention, it's the A7 Rat King, and he's just probably like one of the best versions of Rat King. So yeah, let's get into this one. Okay, so first start off with the Shredder and Krang. They're in this warehouse, and we do get to see Krang just walks into the warehouse and asks Sucky basically what he's been doing and stuff like that. And that's when Shredder says that basically he's been working on a plan, and that's when he pulls out this rock, which, you know, at first you must think is a bit strange and weird. However, this was the rock which we did get to see him steal in the last issue. But then when we do go into the next issue, he does explain a lot more about it, saying that basically this rock has a lot of powers and stuff like that. And it actually says that there's 2 rocks. One of the rocks was used to create this sword which this ninja is using, and basically he can slice through, I don't know if it's through dimensions or reality or something like that, but I must admit it's pretty cool to see him be able to slice through the universe and stuff like that. Pretty cool. And yeah, so Shredder has this other rock, and he wants to basically do some other things with it. But Krang doesn't really trust him and stuff like that because, well, it's the Shredder, and, you know, yeah. So Krang decides to examine it with his own technology, and that's when he does discover that basically there is a lot more going on with this rock and stuff like that. So that's when they basically team up to go after some stuff like that. And Krang just asks how to be able to get all the stuff because, you know, normally the turtles will stop him and stuff like that. And that's when he just say that basically Rat King helped him and stuff like that. And he wants to give Rat King a cheese palette. So yeah, that's an interesting present, I want to say. And yeah, okay, so yeah, then going into the next bit, we do get to see the Rat King with the turtles in these mouse suits, which again, pretty interesting for what's actually going on. And we do get to see the turtles just robbing these cheese stores, and with the cheese stores, giving the cheese to the rats, and sort of controlling them that way. And there's not really too much I can really say about the scene here just yet, just because it's only 1 page, but I must admit, it's pretty interesting and unique, I want to say, but overall pretty cool. And we're going into the next scene, we do get to see Vern, he's doing the Channel 6 news report, and April gets a bit annoyed by this, saying that basically it should have been her story and stuff like that. And that's when Donnie gets the taser and just electrocutes the wall. And I must admit, here was when I started to notice that the art has changed quite a lot, and that's because the artwork has changed since issue number 1. So issue 1 was done by Tim Lottie for the most part, and then worst scenes done by Jack Lawrence, I think is the artist, and he's doing the and he's doing the artwork for this whole issue. And I must admit, so far the artwork is pretty good, I want to say. I don't think the colours are there like they were with the last issue, but I think overall they're pretty good, I want to say. But yeah, I must admit, so far with what they're doing in this issue, it seems pretty good, really fun and stuff like that. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. So yeah. So going into the next bit, we do get to see the description, and it is, the Rat King has gained the ability to control the Ninja Turtles. He's ordered Leonardo, Raphael, and Michelangelo to go on a crime spree to benefit the rodents of a city, while forcing Donatello to search for a way to return the Rat King's original powers. Things look grim for our heroes, but this is the second part of our 2-part story, so you know they're going to reverse Rat King's control and put things right. Nostalgia-filled Saturday morning inspired adventures with tmnt continue in the King Part 2. So yeah, I must admit, overall, pretty interesting. I must admit, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm somewhat a little bit disappointed that I do spoil a little bit here, saying basically the Rat King's going to get his powers back, but at the same time, we knew it was going to happen, so it's not too much of a big spoiler, but at the same time, maybe not put that stuff in there, but I don't really mind it too much because, again, we already knew that it was going to happen eventually, so yeah, but I don't know, I feel like I'm just moaning just because I can. Okay, so for the covers, we do have cover A, which is done by Tim Lottie, and must admit, it looks really great as well. I like how the turtles are down there, they look really great. I mean, Donnie in a different mice suit, I want to say, and yeah, it just works. It's unique, really interesting, I want to say. I don't know how else to really explain it, but it just works somehow. And yeah, it's just pretty great. I don't really know what else to really say. I don't think this cover is as great as the first cover, because I know that with the first one he wanted to make it a bit more splashy and like a really good cover. And then just going to this one, it's just like this and just like, eh. But I must admit, it's still a pretty good cover. We had this one which is done by Dan Schuing, who's going to be the main artist going forward. And I must admit, here it looks amazing. I like the artwork for this one, And someone has got me a bit interested to see how like this story as well, just because this one looks so that it's going to be taking more inspiration from the comic itself. We've seen the Splinter gun against the turtles, which I really want to see that, just because I think that could be a really interesting concept to see. So that could be interesting, depending how that really goes down. Well, yeah, I must admit the artwork for this one looks really great. I love the raccoon in here. Yeah, it's perfect. One thing which I don't like about is the new series bit down there, but you know, it's not too much I'm really playing about. We've got cover C, which I don't know the artist for. I could look, but I'm not going to. But this one looks okay. It's very stylized in a certain art style, I'd say. And I don't really know if it really suits the turtles that well, but I think it does a pretty good job of just, like, you know, I mean, like, you know, just showing off like a really good April with some turtles in the background. Not really too much I can really say here, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. I do like it for the most part. I just think that the art style doesn't really suit this version of Turtles all too well, but I think it does a good job. And then for the 110 variant, which I must admit, I mean, this one's done by Jim Lawson, which I love Jim Lawson's artwork, but I just think that his art style really only fits the Mirage Turtles, and I think that when you go into like stuff like this and like the Sailor Adventure Turtles, where you get to see him join them in Day 7 stuff, as well as like he did like some stuff for the 2007 movie. He did the issue for Donatello, and I just don't think that his art style doesn't really translate too well for other versions of Turtles. I don't really know. I just don't think it works too well. I think he just, yeah, I don't know, it's real shame just because I love his art style, but I just don't think it works for representing other versions of Turtles in his art style. I just think he has a really great art style, but not for this version of Turtles. I think that's all I really got to say about it, but I must admit overall, it does look really cool, really nice. And again, it's just great to see him come back and do some more Turtle stuff. We'd love to see him come back and do like another a few issues of Turtles, but oh well. And then for the 125 variant, it's the exact same as 110 variant, but it has no writing on it. Wow. So yeah, I don't really know what to really say here. My complaints with this issue, or this cover, are exact same ones which I have with the 110 variant. But I must admit, it's still pretty cool nonetheless to have Jim Lawson come back. His art style is definitely still amazing. I can't complain all too much, but yeah, so, I mean, I must admit, this one was a little bit of a letdown just because I wanted to see a little bit more. But yeah, but I must admit, I think this card is going to be the best one which they've done for this issue so far. So yeah, I must admit, overall, this issue I'm looking forward to. I think the covers are hit or miss with most of them, but I do think for the most part they are pretty good and stuff like that. And yeah, so let me know in the comment section below what you think about this issue. Are you looking for this one? Are you not? And also, what covers will be picking up? Because yeah, I think it could be hit or miss with some of these ones. I think I'm going to try and get this one just because this one looks the best. But yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. If you doesn't, please share, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Goodbye, yo, bye.